Hi, everyone. Welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. Today I'm going to be speaking about chapter and verse from the book of Esther. I wasn't too familiar with the book of Esther, so I did a little research. It takes place around 5th century BC in the Persian Empire. The Jewish people were living in exile far from Jerusalem. And during this time, there was a royal official named Haman who plotted to destroy the Jewish people. Esther was a young Jewish woman who had become the queen of Persia. But if she revealed herself, her identity, and approached the king uninvited, it could have cost her her life. So her whole book is the story of how the Jewish queen Esther and her uncle Mordecai were able to thwart the wicked Haman, who conspires to destroy the Jews living in the Persian Empire. Just read that from my Bible. So the purpose of this book is to remind the people of Israel of God's providence on their behalf. And it's a story that starts the Jewish feast of Purim, but for Catholics, it's written on Thursday during the first week of Lent. So that's why I'm discussing it now. Let's listen. Queen Esther, seized with mortal anguish, had recourse to the Lord. She lay prostrate upon the ground, together with her handmaids, from morning until evening, and said, God of Abraham, God of God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, blessed are you. Help me, who am alone and have no help but you, for I am taking my life in my hand. As a child, I used to hear from the books of my forefathers that you, O Lord, always freed those who were pleasing to you. Now help me, who am alone and have no one but you, O Lord my God. And now come to help me, an orphan. Put in my mouth persuasive words in the presence of the lion, and turn his heart to hatred for our enemy, so that he and those who are in the league with him may perish. Save us from the hand of our enemies. Turn our mourning into gladness and our sorrows into wholeness. So, God's name is never mentioned in the book of Esther, yet his providence is quietly moving throughout every moment. And that's sometimes how we might feel with God in our lives. Have you ever been in a moment where you didn't choose, but somehow you knew that it mattered? This reading from Esther reminds us that sometimes God works quietly, placing us exactly where we're needed the most. Esther didn't feel fearless. She felt uncertain and she felt like the weight of the stress on her, but she moved forward anyway, not because everything was clear, but because she trusted God was already at work. Maybe there's a conversation, a decision, or a step that feels uncomfortable or uncertain. Esther reminds us you don't have to see the whole plan to take the next faithful step. The journal prompts that would go along with this passage would be, where in my life do I feel called to courage right now? And am I waiting for perfect clarity before I act? What's one small faithful step that God might be inviting me to take? And then finally, where have I seen the quiet signs of God's guidance recently? I hope that this episode just might inspire you to have the courage for the moment that you're in right now. Leave me a comment or like it, pass it on with a friend so I know that this was important to you. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's Whispers.